No more being distracted. That is not my goal. Uh, First goal. I know you can't see it, but like my mouse cursor is doing something weird. So, uh, before getting properly into it, let me see if I can make that go away from me. I'm just gonna see if turning off compositing does it. Nope. And that does not do it either. Okay, whatever. Going back to non-local forage. Why is that still happening? A few things I'm gonna have to do remotely here. Why isn't bin in my path? There we go. Hello, Joshua. That's a nice window. Um, that certainly is a sound you're making. Okay, what I need here. I don't appear to be particularly offline. I appear to be particularly online. What the hell? Where's the docks? Show me the docks. Doing fine. Import type? I still don't quite understand what the hell is going on there. No, it's so I'm a non-local forage. Local forage is a library for doing local storage, and I'm adding backends to use cloud storage, such as the Google Drive backend that I am attempting to implement right now. So it is it is cloud storage dev in that I am using a cloud storage system, not in that I am uh, developing cloud storage. Okay, so certainly interesting. DB info must be something about. Okay. Okay, time to learn how to use Google Drive. I suppose off in some other window, I'm gonna have to actually like get a development token to be able to do any of this, aren't I? uh, how about I don't help you improve the Google Drive API? How's that for an idea? Set up your environment. Configure the OAuth consent screen. I need a Google Cloud project. Doop-a-doo. I realize you can't see what I'm doing right now. I have to do this on a different screen because it's sensitive. Okay, creating a project. Then I go to enable the API. Is it doing it? Did it do it? It didn't give me any notification. Did it work? I'm going to assume that it worked. Configure the OAuth consent screen. Maybe the API is a myth. I believe it, Joshua. I'm terrified of dealing with Google Drive because they've really fucked me over in the past. Let me see if I can I don't know. I don't know whether the new maintainers have kept my rant around. Well, at least this search isn't finding it, but in Craig, I went through a bunch of madness with Google Drive. They like canceled it for no reason, wouldn't explain what the hell was going on. Then when I, went through and checked things, it was just a big mess. It was just like awful. Okay. I don't know if you happen to have ever noticed, Joshua, but I have a few videos that are uploaded that are just like, here's Google's own demonstration code for uploading videos, uploading a video from the command line. I can't believe I had to upload this stupid fucking video, and it's just like the YouTube API they like do an audit to make sure that your app isn't, doing anything evil, but it's like, I'm the only user of this app, you piece of shit. If it's doing anything evil, it's doing it to myself. Okay, so what I need... Google Drive API. Drive.appdata. File. That should be it. Okay. Now I do credentials. OAuth client IDs. Create credential OAuth client ID. Create credential OAuth client ID. I'm just following the instructions here. Web application. Okay. Nearly ready to actually do something. Okay. Not going to reveal the content of that file, but that file exists. Now, notionally, with that, I did not create the API key. My God, there's so many steps. Create credentials API key. Okay, the API key should be fairly safe to share, but I'm still not going to show anything I don't need to. Okay. Fine, I am happy to start with exactly your example code, and then we'll work from there. Actually, given that I just copied this, Python is Python 3, thank you very much. Now, I did not modify this code at all. Client ID. Okay, the client ID is something different here. Yeah. Okay. As long as I'm careful about what I open here, this should be fine. So my client ID has cock in it. And my API key technically should be fine for me to be using, for me to be showing that information, because those are the public keys anyway. Drive.metadata.read-only. Do I even want that? The only scope I actually want is drive.files. And then in this case, because it's presumably only looking for that metadata, this is going to do a bunch of garbage. Yeah. So this isn't going to work, but that's fine. Okay. What is that scope actually called? auth/drive dot. Oh, it's just dot file. It's not dot files. So sorry. I feel like logging into Google is something to do while not actually showing that on this screen. Sorry about that. I realized that it took a while. 'Twas necessary. No logging in on camera. Only the specific Google Drive files you use with this app. Yes, that is what I want. And I'll bet if I checked this, it would be like nothing. It was like nothing. No files found. That's actually perfect because I haven't created any files with this app, so that's exactly what I expect. Okay. So now I have the foundation. Yes, nothing is good in this case. Exactly, Joshua. So I just need to start combining things. Yeah, I thought I did that. Oh, it's open over here. Nothing is what the people want, and nothing is what they've come to expect. So presumably the actual loading of the script is, yes, down here. Okay. Hello, async. Wait. Is this allowed to be async? I might need my own external init if it's not allowed to be async. Oh, return. It must be async. That does a return promise.resolve at the end. Okay, it's allowed to be async. Let me just do a quick. Okay, so I want to load you. And apparently when I'm done, I want to GAPI loaded. And then I want to load you. And apparently when I'm done with that, I want jizz loaded. Oh, unless that was just, Okay, that's actually just these. Okay, I understand. Upload client. I see. Okay. But then initialize Gappy client does this. They really don't understand how to be consistent with their asyncs, do they? Okay. The API key should come from options. Discovery docs. Is that documentaries on the Discovery Channel? Is that, the fuck does this... What is this? No need for that. Okay, we load that, and then whatever jizzloaded does, we are going to do that too. It's a document about the meaning of discovery, says Joshua in chat. It's as logical as anything else. Okay, so Gappy and Google. I'm just going to have to treat as generic, who knows what the hell they are, APIs. And this needs to be options.googledrive.clientID. The scope. What do you mean defined later? I see. So I need like an authentication button. That's not too surprising. Right, I wanted to get the scopes. Wow, it's space separated instead of an array? That's just very stupid. Okay. I'm the only person on Earth who prefers double quotes to single quotes. No more defined later about it. That's just that. Let's just call it GD. Okay, now I need... Yeah, okay. That's just going to have to be another Google Drive option. Right, okay. I understand. So that should use an existing session if there is one. And then, yeah, from here, it's just using the actual API. So the rest is Just the actual shit I'm trying to accomplish, that's all. Just the important part. So I'm now logged in, theoretically. Let's actually start with set item, because I feel like that's going to be, that's going to set the stage for everything else. Callback based. What? How is it both callback based and non-callback based? I guess it's just adding the callback to the promise chain or something? It's exceedingly annoying. You know what? Can't I make this... I could inline this and that would make it much clearer. Or the types much clearer anyway. Never mind. So the name should always be a string, I think. Key, value, and callback, fine. Value can be anything. And the callback is just a crap sandwich. I don't want a callback. Okay, now to start actually getting past the quick start and figuring out how to do things with Google Drive. Don't know why you would want a metadata-only file. Excuse me? Small, medium, 5 megs or less, so... Well, Yeah, maybe I'll go with always using resumable, because I just don't know how big it's going to be. I'm going to need an API to just generally turn anything into a string. Or into data, anyway. That's called serializing. I think the way I'm going to need to do this is there's a... What is the way I need to do this? Yes, okay, I need like a header object that describes the object. Yeah, so descriptor and then the actual data, and the actual data might just also be JSON. I will assume JSON for no, I'd actually better You know what? Mr. Setting. Okay, the type is JSON, or you know what? The type is just or array buffer. Let's use capitals. I like capitals. So type should be the only mandatory part. My music was cutting out on my headphones, and suddenly I'm concerned if like something else has gone horribly wrong. All right, so now this should be of type descriptor, and I will indeed say by default type JSON, but then I'll fill that in. How does one quickly distinguish between the various typed array types? I mean, I can instance of. Is there a smarter way to do this than... Is there really not an int8 array? Wow, what an eclectic selection of options. Okay. I think the answer is there is no smarter way to do this than to do it. Let's just go with desk. This feels very stupid, but I don't know if there's a better way to do this. I really don't want to just query the constructor's name. That feels extremely stupid. Going to intentionally not do the big num types because they suck and are horrible, but I am going to intentionally do data view. Okay. And then the actual data after it should just be the data. No, not a clamped array. Nope, not the descriptor. For data dot byte offset data byte length. If it's directly an array buffer, then, oops, I never set the description type here. Otherwise, it has to be JSON serializable, or I will get unhappy. You know what? If I'm just going to throw an exception, I may as well just try, and if it fails, throw an exception. Okay, it has to be one of those three things, and then what I do is I say new text encoder ASCII8 equals text encoder dot encode JSON dot stringifying here. I don't need to stringify there. So I encode the description. And then what I need to do is just concatenate like the length of the description, and the actual data. Length of the description, the actual description, and everything after it. The length of the description, the actual description, and everything else. That is not how you spell that word. Okay. I will add deserialization later. But for the time being, that should be sufficient to serialize. Wow, this isn't asynchronous, is it? It just occurred to me. I was certain it was going to be asynchronous, but I don't know why. It doesn't need to be asynchronous. Whoa, whoa, something's going horribly wrong. Okay, my frame rate just tanked. Everything is super cool. Absolutely no problems here. Technology working fine. Don't you worry about any weird crap you might be hearing or seeing or something. The actual stream seems to be fine. Okay, serialize the value. And then I guess this is where the rubber hits the road, isn't it? Maximum file size 5 gigabytes. Now, this is the really annoying thing about all of Google's API documentation. They don't document any of their libraries, but they do suggest you should use the libraries. So it's like, what the hell, guys? So you just have to sort of infer the documentation from the demonstration examples they give. It's bad. It's like proper bad. GAP. Okay, I'm just going to copy this and work from there. Dot files dot create. Sure, why not? Wow, I didn't realize they removed this feature. It was a horrible feature to begin with, but I didn't realize they removed it. Okay. Wait. What about like a name? Do you want to give me a name? How do I give a name? I was looking at this like, well, I don't need any of those options. How do I set a name? How do I make a name? How do I name the file? The request body contains an instance of file. So these, I guess, are... So what do I... Okay, that took fields there. Do I just also put this here? We... Name. There we go. 0% chance that this does anything of any value. Key is probably not all I want for the name, but I will start with that. And given that I'm not doing the actual upload yet, I guess that might be all the information I need. And tell you what, I'm just going to console.log the response, and let's actually get to a point where we can make something instead. What is Almagar? Asks Joshua in chat. So this is just the name for this particular computer, this particular virtual machine. I always name my computers after ancient, like Bronze Age and earlier cities. So, well, I mean, there weren't cities at the time, but settlements. So this one happens to be named Almagar. Of course, that's almost certainly a modern interpretation of an ancient name, but, you know, within the boundaries of what's possible. Probably want pretty much all the same options. It's a split and shortened version of Alpha Manager. I'm pretty sure I did change the lib. Oh, wait. Lib. No, that was right. Target. Compiler options. That's a terrible name. There we go. How does this... Oh, I understand. I understand, and I was quite incorrect, but now I understand. That belongs in there. In fact, this doesn't actually need to be anything. Well, it probably does. Let's keep it. Okay, it all at least compiles. Oops. Let's make the horrible decision of a packager. Oh, how the hell does this work? So I need something. Maybe I need to not use rollup. I don't like rollup. dev. Good. I no longer wish for your API quick start. Stop looking angry, y'all weasel face. Everything's fine. Freaking 2 space indentation. I don't know what expression. I think that my expression is just sort of like bored, or, you know, I mean, not bored, but like just neutral, basically. Just like not showing a lot of excitement because I'm just, you know, hacking out some code here, and it's decided to interpret that as real angry. So angry. So I believe I did not select a name for this to export as, right? So it should theoretically just export. How many expressions does YawWeasel have? Asked Joshua in chat. I don't remember. Only like 4 or something. Yeah, I don't know. This won't do anything useful, but it might at least lead me somewhere useful. Okay, how do I choose the export name? But how do I actually set that name? Is that just a badly documented thing? Giving it the brilliant name of temp. Oh, okay. That worked. So theoretically, log in and login do not mean the same thing. Log in is a verb phrase. Login is a noun. Google Drive local forage dot init storage Then I put all of my own options in here. Including so much crap. Including so much crap. What did I put in there? API key. Client ID. And then, yes, the request login function. I can do one better here. Okay, let's see where, if anywhere, this gets me. Okay. Nothing broke. Seems exceedingly likely that that worked. Really wish it would remember my login, and I'm not sure why it's not. So I'll have to check that later. But so long as this is all just a test app, it doesn't really matter. This does not appear to have failed. This looks astonishingly like something that didn't fail. I think it made the file. I'm slightly stunned, to be honest. It made the file. Now I need to upload the actual data to it. I was kind of making it up as I went along there because Google's documentation is so freaking awful, but retrieve the resumable session URI. I don't feel like I retrieved a resumable session URI. Does any of this look like a resumable session URI? No. I think it made the file. It clearly made the file because it got a HTTP 200, which means success. But I thought I asked for a resumable upload. How does this look in? Of course. Media. Interesting. I guarantee you this has no JavaScript version. Yep, because that's exactly what I was just looking at. What an absolute piece of trash this documentation is. Okay, I've got to read some idiot's guide. What? This is just doing it by hand. Does it have to be by hand? That feels mad. Yeah, this isn't even using the API client. That can't be right. That simply can't be correct. Wow. This is some real horse shit. You just have to do it by hand. That's like genuine madness. That's amazing. Wow, okay. I guess I'll just do it by hand then, like a fucking caveman. That's weird. Like, why even have the Create API if you can't make files with it? This is like standard Google horse shit, though. Okay. Name will still be the key for the moment. I really don't need to set a MIME type. I certainly don't need to set parents. That's not a lot of metadata. I'm just going to put the name in manually, thank you. This token equals this.gd token client dot. Get token. I guess that's right. Yeah, because once it's logged in, it'll have a token. Fine. This just isn't going to work. This just isn't going to work. Oh, it's not myself I don't believe in, Joshua. It's this guide. which is currently having a package attack for no reason. Everything's fine. No technological problems here. The name is the key. Believe in Google. They would never lie to you. So what is file then? File is, okay, yeah, because this is multi-part MIME data, fine. So this should be the serialized value, which it's making text plain, but since I'm not uploading plain text, I should not do that. And then at least this is actually using the modern fetch API instead of some weird crap. This is just weird. This is just weird. Like, this is just not correct. This is just weird. You do not need to use new headers. That's silly. Body is this form? Like, why? Again, at some point I obviously want to use the existing login session rather than making a new one. That really does appear to have worked. That looks quite promising. I can go and verify that in another window on that's, you know, not being shared. Oh yeah, okay. Foo is, yeah, it's directly in the root of my drive, which is pretty stupid. It is 32 bytes. That feels quite plausible. I'm going to download it and check that those 32 bytes look roughly, approximately correct. Oh, yep. Yep. Type JSON data bar. Yep. Perfect. Okay. Incredible progress. So obviously some directory structure is going to be needed here. But I feel like directory structure can actually be added later without too much difficulty. I'm just going to keep barreling on with what I have, but only for another 5 minutes or so. So we made a serializer. What is a serializer without a deserializer? What is a serializer without documentation? Who the hell am I? Yes, definitely, Joshua. And some really poor clients with bad documentation. Again, I don't think this needs to be async, interestingly. Deserialize. This does have to be a uint array. And Google's just unbelievably shitty documentation. Okay, so the description size is... Oh, this is actually going to be quite stupid. Okay, byte offset. That, okay. The description as U8 is data.subarray from 4 to 4 plus the size. And then I need a text decoder. This isn't asynchronous, is it? No. And then I just need to decide what to do with it. What is the clever way to do this? Now we repeat all the crap I just did in one direction in the opposite direction. Yay! In that case, that's already the right type. Is there a better way to do this than the nightmare I'm about to do? Yes. Should I have given it a type? Maybe. Do I want to attempt to define the type I'm using here? No. Float 32. Float 64. Data view. Does data view even have the same constructor? I think it does. Yep. Okay, then I can just do this. Post.buffer, post.buffer. byte offset post.byte length. That's not how that works. It's a byte length for this, but it's not a byte length for this. Correct. This documentation is fantastic. MDN is very good. This documentation is an absolute, like, dumpster fire. Google's documentation is offensively bad. Now, I'm assuming that DataView is not going to be kind enough to have bytes per element just for like a bit of compatibility. Yeah, that would have been too much to ask for. Clone it, and that will be what I return. In this case, I just put it in the object, right? Yes, .data. Return ret. Wow, it just compiled. I was going to end 5 minutes ago. I don't appear to have ended yet. Okay. Progress was made, and I know sort of the path forward for more progress, so I'm going to call that good. I suspect that next time I do one of these, I might be able to get non-local forage into a state where it at least works, like it at least has the entire API, albeit probably not like super reliable and predictable for Google Drive. And then once I have that, it'll be adding other backends. What I would like is to be able to use the same front end for Google Drive, for Dropbox, for everything. Just you always use this. But that'll be some other time. All the backends. Exactly, Joshua. As the only person who ever watches these streams, you understand me.